my name is Rebecca Lee, and my presentation today is going to be on protecting the world health from the plastic crisis. So, a little bit more about me. I'm going to be a rising senior at Carmel High School, located in Carmel, Indiana. I am the president of Mock Trial at my school, also the club, the American Red Cross Club. I also made that club. I like to be involved in student government, specifically class president. And I also founded Read Plastics, which is where I get to teach people a lot about plastics recycling. This year I also got my gold award for Girl Scouts, which I've been involved in for 12 years. And also in school, I like to be involved with media a lot. Like I am a news anchor this year. And healthcare wise, I like to be involved like in clubs like HOSA, where I placed first place in health education and qualified for the international competition this year. Other extracurriculars wise, I presented at the Stanford Neuroscience Forum, and in the future, I want to go into pre-med track. So a little bit more on the background of my presentation. What is one thing we use every day? If plastics came into mind, then you are definitely correct because we actually do use it every single day. We actually use a lot of it every single day. And we started using it ever since mass production began over 6 decades ago, and it is used all around the world. It is a polymeric material with chemical compounds, and it could be molded into different shapes and products. So specifically, where do the world's plastics end up? So as of right now, 8.3 billion metric tons are trashed, unfortunately, and 8 million metric tons of plastic enter the oceans every single year. And as of 2023, over 170 trillion pieces are in the ocean, and by 2050, 12 billion metric tons are projected to be in landfills. So those are really scary numbers, and the main reason why they're accumulating is because 91% of plastics are actually not recycled as of now, even though they could be. So how does this exactly relate to global health? Well, plastics are found in water. It is also found in tea, wine, meats, fruits, and vegetables, a lot of things that humans eat every single day. And counting the amount we also inhale, we do so for around 74,000 to 121,000 particles of plastic every single year. And of those plastics that we regularly consume and inhale without even knowing, there's this compound, it's really toxic, it's called BPA. It is a toxic chemical additive that is found in a lot of plastics. It is one of the most common chemicals produced worldwide. It is found in food packaging, containers, and a lot of things we use on a daily basis. And this issue became very, very bad because in 2022, plastics were found in human blood. And as you can see in this figure 1 over here, this is the path that plastics take before getting into the body. It reaches like landfills, secondary sources, breaks down into microplastics, reaches food, and finally reaches humans. So more about microplastics and BPA. Microplastics specifically, as you can see, this is like how it affects many different vital systems in the body. It is small pieces of plastic that could be produced in landfills, which are all over the world right now. Microplastics are also a very well-known reason for the abundance of antibiotic use and also the spread of human pathogens, which is a really big issue because it could lead to antibiotic resistance, making many diseases harder to cure later on. Now with BPA, it is an endocrine disrupting chemical, and this means that it mimics your body's hormones and is also related to many hormone-related cancers, reproductive difficulty, neurological disorders, and many horrible diseases out there. And at one point, BPA was also the cause for over 42,000 obese children in Europe. Now, what is the reason behind this lack of recycling? So, a survey of 2,000 Americans showed that 62% are very worried about recycling because they do not know the proper way. There are many rules on recycling, they don't know how to do it. And this survey by EPA shows that only 32% of Americans actually recycle, when 94% of the US has recycling programs. If this issue is taking place in developed countries like the US, the issue is likely much worse in developing countries and elsewhere in third world countries. So what is exactly the answer? How can we recycle properly? So step 1 is to know what plastic you are dealing with. So there are 7 types. Type 1 is PET. It is common and lightweight. It is found in many food bottles and jugs. Type 2 is HDPE. It is really resistant against moisture and chemicals, which is why it is found in a lot of cartons and piping. Type 3 is the more toxic kind, is PVC and vinyl. It is very resistant against damage and germs, which is why it's found in a lot of hospital equipment. Type 4 is LDPE. It is much softer and more flexible, which is why it is found in plastic and cling wrap. Now, type 5 is PP, polypropylene. It is heat resistant and more flexible, and it is found in straws and medication bottles. Type 6 is styrofoam, or PS. It is really rigid and a good insulator, which is why you find a lot of your takeout boxes and cups made out of styrofoam. And type 7, it could be unique types. It is classified as other. It is different combinations of these other plastic types, and it includes things like glasses, CDs, baby bottles, things like that. And step 2 is to know how to recycle. So first of all, it is really important to check the tracing codes, which is these triangle-shaped symbols right here found on many plastic products. And you could only recycle things that have numbers 1, 2, and 5, which is not that bad because type 1 is actually one of the most common plastic types manufactured today. But it's also important to keep in mind to never recycle things with grease or food residue. Don't recycle plastic bags, straws, single-use utensils, as it could damage other recyclables out there. And also, if you want more information, definitely check with your local recycling centers for materials that are usually not accepted during curbside. Now, one of the examples that I did to take action was replastics. I think you've heard that earlier when I did my introduction. It is when I created a public website where I teach children or anyone else who wants to seek education really about proper plastics recycling. I included flyers that I made for my local recycling center, different kinds of presentations, and coloring pages for anyone who wants to learn more in a very fun way. So solutions and final takeaways, I would say it is very important to incorporate more recycling into daily life. Also to strive to educate all age groups on a really large scale about proper recycling so the accumulating plastic, it could stagnate, come to a stop eventually. And also to make education about recycling more accessible. We could do that through fundraisers and a lot of other philanthropic projects. And also ask yourself every day, what can you do to help? How can you contribute to the cause of making manufacturing and plastics more eco-friendly every single day? Here are my references. And I would like to thank so much the Johns Hopkins Global Health Leadership Conference for giving me this wonderful opportunity to present. And I would also like to thank the Hamilton County Household Hazardous Waste Center for giving me so much information about plastics recycling, and also my family for their endless support. And of course, thank you so much to anyone in the audience who listened to my presentation. If you have any questions, here's my contact information. Thank you so much for listening.